I signed the divorce papers on a Thursday morning. Just hours later, my sister uploaded her ultrasound photo online. My ex-husband, my husband at the time, standing beside her, holding her hand, both of them smiling like they had just won a prize. I stared at that picture far longer than I should have, not because it broke me. The pain had burned itself out days before, but because of what I saw behind them. The cream-colored wall, the gold-framed mirror, the orchid vase I had picked out when we moved into what was supposed to be our forever home, the home I bought, the one they thought I'd never dare set foot in again. They underestimated me. They forgot who I was. My sister Alina had always been the type people called magnetic. Her soft voice, her gentle smile, she drew people in without even trying. I once admired that about her. I even protected her. So naturally, when I met Daniel, she was the first one I introduced him to. Daniel came across as thoughtful, the kind of man who remembered the smallest details, how I liked my coffee, which author I quoted in passing, how I always checked the locks twice before bed. He used to say those quirks made me careful, but being careful wasn't enough. For years, I believed we were building something steady, marriage, stability, a home, until one night, when he came back reeking faintly of Alina's signature perfume, lavender and musk. She'd worn it since college. I told myself I was imagining things. But imagination doesn't buy matching bracelets. The signs began to stack up. Her sudden habit of calling me every evening. His work calls that dragged on for hours in the car. The delayed replies. The strained silences at family dinners. And then one morning, while he was showering, his phone lit up. A message preview. Alina, I can't wait until it's just us. She doesn't deserve you. It wasn't heartbreak that hit me. It was silence. A silence so heavy it numbed my fingers. I didn't confront him. Instead, I deleted the preview, steadied my breath, and greeted him with a smile when he came out of the bathroom. I let him believe I was still blind. Because people like them, cheaters, liars, they collapse faster when you stop reacting. So I began planning. Quietly, carefully. The house we had just bought, I had paid the down payment myself. What Daniel didn't know was that the deed wasn't finalized yet. It still required my signature. I let him believe everything was already done. I even told him I'd take care of the last of the paperwork personally. Next, I started collecting proof, screenshots of messages, bank transfers, hotel receipts. I even caught a video of Alina slipping out of his car near his office. I consulted lawyers. More than one. By the time they were officially together, my divorce settlement was ironclad, and the house belonged to me alone, the same house they dreamed of decorating together. A week after the divorce, Daniel and Alina showed up at the gates of their house, the one she'd been bragging about her relatives as their new beginning. But inside, the house was stripped bare. No furniture, no electronics. Empty. I left only one thing. The front door unlocked. From the living room window, I watched them step inside, hand in hand. Alina's belly was starting to show. She looked smug. He looked drained, older, beaten down, almost poetic. Then came her scream, sharp and raw. They'd found the letter. I'd placed it neatly on the kitchen counter beside a single house key. My handwriting was steady. Dear Alina, you always wanted what was mine. Now you have it. A man who cheats, lies, and betrays without hesitation. I hope he keeps you warm when the house grows cold, though it won't be this one. This property belongs solely to me. The locks change tomorrow. Enjoy your first night of realization. Her face shifted as she read. Disbelief, then fury, then humiliation. Daniel tried to console her, but she shoved him away, screaming words I couldn't make out. They left half an hour later. He didn't even glance back. 2 weeks later, my mother called. Alina was living at a friend's apartment. Daniel had abandoned her. Turns out, he'd been cheating on her too. I said little, just nodded, smiled faintly, and told my mother I hoped she'd be all right. Then I poured myself a glass of wine, opened the curtains, and stood in the quiet glow of my own home. The walls were freshly painted white. The orchid vase had been replaced with lilies. They last longer. There was no grand celebration, no gloating. Just the steady satisfaction of knowing they had destroyed themselves trying to wound me. People sometimes ask how I moved on so quickly. I tell them this. Peace doesn't come from forgiveness. It comes from control. I didn't ruin her life. She did that when she confused betrayal with love. All I did was hand her the mirror. And the best part? The house she once imagined as her dream life. It's now my studio. Sometimes, I paint right there in the kitchen, the same spot where she opened my letter.